Thanks so much for being with us here on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm Joy Limnacker, and taking a look at some of the top stories that we're following right now. We start with the investigation into a pretty bold smash and grab. This is on Powers Ferry Road in Cobb County, where police are investigating after they say burglars took some really drastic steps just to try to steal from a pharmacy. Atlanta News First reporter Rebecca Schramm has been at the CVS on Powers Ferry Road throughout the morning, where it sounds like the burglars did not get what they wanted after all.
I was talking with an employee off camera. She tells me what she can tell from the security cameras, 4 people did this, and take a look at the damage they left behind. This is on Powers Ferry Road near where it meets Windy Ridge Parkway, if you're familiar with this area. Just inside the door of this CVS pharmacy, you can see the top part of an ATM. Well, the worker says the main part of the ATM, the part with the cash in it, is still right where it belongs. She says it looks like the men used a U-Haul truck overnight to smash into the front entrance. They then tried to tie up the ATM and drag it out of here, but as you can see, they were not successful. Still, what a mess they left behind. It is unclear right now when the store might be able to reopen. We're checking with Cobb County Police this morning to find out what they can tell us and if they would be willing to provide to us that security footage so that we can release it to the public and perhaps help them find the people who did this. So we will update you as the day goes on. In Cobb County, Rebecca Schramm, Atlanta News First.
All right, and also an investigation this morning into what started as a traffic stop, ending with police actually shooting a man. Atlanta News First Don Shipman has been with the First Alert Breaking News Tracker at the Georgia Bureau of Investigation this morning, which is now tasked with conducting an independent investigation into this shooting.
Authorities say he had a gun and was in a stolen vehicle. And because he was shot by a police officer, the GBI is now investigating. And they were investigating well into the overnight hours. Take a look right here at the scene where it all ended with that crash right there. This is at Harwell Road and Delmar Lane near the perimeter in West Atlanta. Atlanta police were also there with their police dogs helping to gather evidence. The Fulton County Sheriff says that a deputy attempted to pull over a car, but the driver sped off. There was a chase, then the suspect eventually crashed into a utility pole. According to the sheriff, 20-year-old Trevon Yarborough got out of the car with a gun, ran off, and at some point during that chase, Yarborough was shot by a deputy.
The car came back stolen out of Decatur, and so our investigator attempted the traffic stop, and at that point, he jumped out, obviously wrecked behind us. You see the wrecked vehicle behind us, and at that point he ran toward the houses. The investigator ran behind him.
And now the GBI is looking into exactly when Yarborough was shot by that deputy during that chase. They're looking into that. In the meantime, Yarborough was rushed to the hospital, expected to be okay, but now facing several felony charges. We're outside GBI headquarters. Don Shipman, Atlanta News First.
Thanks so much to Don for that report. All right, now moving on to this story in Cobb County. A $50 million project for a graduation event center is not going forward in Cobb County. Atlanta News First Bridget Spencer reports on how the push for the center does not end here.
Nestled right next to the Cobb School District building is a vacant lot. It doesn't look like much, but the school board had a vision for the land.
I call it the event center. It's estimated to be about $50 million.
Board Chairman Randy Scamahorn says it will be used for many things and not just graduations.
This was going to be used daily for different conferences, different events. This was not going to be a luxurious Taj Mahal where we open it up once a year.
He says the building would have been able to seat about 8,000 people. And the board approved the measure 2 years ago. But they've now pulled the plug on the project.
In that 2-year period, a lot of things have changed. Inflation, construction costs, material costs, labor.
And that decision is being welcomed by a group of stakeholders in Cobb County.
We really focus on what our county is spending money on.
Stephen Lang is with Watching the Funds, Cobb. He says the district should continue to hold graduations at places like Kennesaw State.
They wanted to turn a $45,000 expense into a $50 million black hole.
He says the money can go toward renovating schools.
It's an amazing waste of not only resources, but of the potential to give our teachers and students the resources they need to be successful in life.
Scammahorn says he's open to listening to his constituents, but he ultimately feels the venue is still needed at some point in the future.
We've increased our population over the past 15, 20 years.
Bridget Spencer, Atlanta News First.
Thanks so much to Bridget for that report. Also, want to let you know that we have some new details this morning about the Alpharetta family who was killed in a terrible plane crash, and we now know more details about they're being laid to rest. Remember, a small plane carrying the Van Epps family crashed last month in Sydney, New York. They were flying back to Georgia from a baseball tournament. The funeral is this Friday at 2 o'clock at Roswell United Methodist Church. We have more details on AtlantaNewsFirst.com about how you can honor the family and pay your respects. Turning to the forecast now. And First Alert Weather Time with First Alert meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi. You know, it feels kind of refreshingly cooler this morning, right?
Right, yeah, a little breezy too, which I think makes all the difference. I call a breeze nature's fan. So that is what we are going to have today. A nice little personal fan, courtesy of Mother Nature out there this afternoon. Overall, going to be a much more comfortable day and a much nicer weather pattern for the second half of the week compared to what we had in days past. So what you're looking at on your screen there is a cold front that is currently pushing through the area, and it will continue to sink south of the area as we go through the next several hours. It'll sink completely south of North Georgia, and behind that front, drier conditions. In fact, from Atlanta to the north, we're already seeing a lot of sunshine. You're probably seeing some of those fair weather cumulus clouds flying around in the sky, look like little puffy cotton balls. That will continue through the day, and as that front continues to sink south through the afternoon and evening, drier air in the form of some lower humidity will actually usher in, and that's going to continue to give us a lot of sunshine even into your Thursday. Let's talk about the dew points. That measures the amount of moisture in the air. The higher the number, the more muggy and sticky it feels, and boy, has it been sticky and soupy. The air you can wear the past couple of days, that is going to change starting tonight. So this morning you stepped out the door, it was mostly cloudy, it was still really muggy out there. That front was pushing through early this morning, but as it sinks south along the coast by 5 o'clock this evening, notice those deeper orange colors there. That's indicating the really high humidity, but the yellows and greens, some drier air. So it's going to feel completely different when you leave work today. Again, it's also going to be a little breezy, so overall just super comfortable, and that'll really settle in on Thursday. Thursday is going to be the most comfortable day of the week, and the lower humidity does look like it'll stick around at least through Friday before the humidity could start to tick up over the weekend. Still some question on if it could linger into Saturday, but definitely by Sunday that humidity returns in full force. Now this cold front not necessarily going to cool us down all that much. High temperatures today still climbing near 90, mid to upper 80s across North Georgia in our suburbs, but again, a lot of sunshine. So we'll be right where we're supposed to be this time of year. Our average high temperature is 90 degrees. We are in the hottest month of the year, so just something to keep in mind. It'll still be a warm day, but again, with the breeze, we're talking wind gusts anywhere between 15 to 20 miles per hour through the afternoon. Lower humidity ushering in. You pair all those things together, it's going to be a super pleasant summer afternoon. As we go through the overnight tonight, lows are going to drop into the mid to upper 60s to near 70. 60s with the dew points that we're going to have tomorrow, so the humidity that we're going to have tomorrow morning, that is almost unheard of in the month of July. In fact, our normal low is 72. A lot of us are going to wake up in the mid 60s tomorrow morning. The mountains, places like LJ, could wake up in the low 60s tomorrow morning. Paired with the lower humidity, it's going to feel great outside tomorrow morning. It'll feel more like kind of like a mid-spring morning rather than a summer morning tomorrow. So enjoy it because that's not going to stick around all that long. Now, the next few days, you want to get outside, play some pickleball, play some tennis, play some golf, anything you like to do outdoors, we encourage it because it's going to be really nice. Again, today, temperature near 90. Tomorrow, we'll be back in the low 90s again. We're not going to cool down. The humidity will just drop off a touch. And then on Friday, we will heat back up into the mid 90s. So it will get a little uncomfortably hot on Friday, but at least the humidity will stay low, which we know good and well makes all the difference here in North Georgia. Let's talk about the heat index. So again, that humidity stays relatively low. Of course, it's not going to feel fall-like with temperatures in the 90s, but that'll keep our heat index value just about where our temperature is. So if we're in the low 90s, it's going to feel like the low 90s. If we're in the mid 90s, it's going to feel like the mid 90s. Now, as we head into Saturday, the humidity does slightly tick up, so it'll feel closer to 100. And then Sunday, we could be flirting with heat advisory criteria. So it could very well feel like 102 plus across the area on Sunday with that humidity really coming back. And with the more moisture coming back, that also means rain chances will return. Very isolated storm chances, though. Saturday and Sunday afternoon storms will be possible. What we're going to be watching on Saturday, that cold front that is pushing through, we could have a low develop along it, kind of near the coastline of Savannah. And if that happens, that could wrap around a couple of showers from the Atlantic coast and bring us a chance for some isolated storms. Also, with the humidity returning, potentially that could give us a few afternoon storms. So those things working in tandem will give us at least the chance for a couple of showers and thunderstorms on Saturday. If you're already thinking about the weekend, I know you are, then don't go canceling your plans. It's going to be just fine. No washout. That's definitely not going to be the case, but we'll keep at least a chance for isolated showers and storms both Saturday and Sunday, and then that will continue on into next week as we go back into a more summer-like pattern. Let's talk about the rainfall really quickly because we really picked up some beneficial rain over the last couple of days. We had a handful of first alert weather days with all the rainy and stormy afternoons. We managed to pick up 3.5 inches of rain at the airport. This is more than double what we picked up in the month of June. So July in just the first week really came out swinging in the rainfall department. And that puts us in almost a 2-inch surplus for the month for where we should be at this point in the month. Now, July is one of our wetter months, so this is not completely abnormal, but really some beneficial rain. We'll get a new drought monitor tomorrow, and I imagine it will show some improvement. I'm sure a lot of your yards also looking a lot better as well after all that rain we picked up the last couple of days. Here's a look at your first alert 7-day forecast. So no first alert weather days on the horizon. A lot of sunshine as we go through the next several days, and then those rain chances do start to return as we head into the upcoming weekend with temperatures back in the mid to upper 90s come next week. So enjoy the slightly lower humidity, the slightly cooler temperatures, because that will be a thing of the past, especially as we head into the end of the weekend and next week. All right, everyone, thanks so much for spending some time with us this morning here on Atlanta News First Plus. For your news and your weather, be sure to stay tuned with us all day on AtlantaNewsFirst.com, on the Atlanta News First app, the First Alert Weather app. So many ways to stay connected through the day, and I hope you enjoy the beautiful weather on the way for the second half of the week.